Okay. I think you should listen to True Exclusive, where you should get all your news and all the celebrity things that you're looking for.
City's gonna break my heart. This city's gonna love me and leave me alone. This city's got me chasing stars. It's been so long since I felt like I'm home. Oh.
Yeah, I grew up, single mom. My mom wasn't with my dad, really. My dad was in and out of my life. He was in and out of jail, in and out of rehab. Um, you know, been a drug addict my whole life. My dad has, so he wasn't in my life as a child growing up and in and out of my life as an adult. And so my mom raised me and seven other brothers and sisters that I have in the same house. I have other brothers that I from on my dad's side that I consider family, but not, when you grow up in the house, those are the people you consider your brothers, right? So, I was born in Chicago. I grew up there. Um, you know, I've I feel like I've lived many lives. I've lived in the shelter, most different shelters in Chicago. I've had different holidays in shelters. I've lived out of the car with my mom. So at an early age, I think that I just grew up faster than a lot of other kids, and I think I felt the realism of what the world is very young. I didn't have the luxury and the opportunity to live in a fairy tale where there's the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus and stuff like that, because I really didn't have that kind of childhood. But if you're stuck in a circumstance that's really out of your hands, the only thing that we really do have is our is our right to have an imagination and to have goals and to have dreams. I think that if you're somebody in that situation, you need to attach yourself to a goal. You need to attach yourself to something that you want, because that really will be the driving force for you to ultimately make your way out of that circumstance. And that's what I feel like is has a lot to do with why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why there's a lot of crime in low income neighborhoods, but I think one of the reasons is just the lack of awareness, and I think I didn't know how big the world was until I saw it. And a lot of kids in the hood don't ever see what the world looks like. They only live in the city and only can see as far as they can visually see. So that means that your goals and the things that you want are capsized and really limited. And for that reason, we have a lot of guys who idolize people who sell drugs, and a lot of guys who idolize basketball players and rappers, because that's the only thing they're really being shown. And if you have something like that, the culture that creates it, it creates an opportunity for you to fail, because those things are not as obtainable. You know what I mean? And growing up, I think I just always felt different. I always felt like I was meant for bigger things in my life, as young kids do. But normally those things fade, as you get older. But for whatever reason, I just kind of stay with it.
I die young, bury me in sin, lay me down in a bed of roses, take me to the river at dawn, send me away with the words of a love song.
I got into music when I was like 18, and I taught myself how to play guitar. I was working at this pawn shop, and I worked with a lot of guys, and they all were all in a band together. And I felt left out, and I was like, "Well, shit, I want to teach myself." So I just sat in the back and I watched them, and I taught myself how to play. And that was really my intro to doing music. And I've always done music. I started doing music before anything art related. But growing up, where I grew up, there really wasn't an avenue to really, explore that within myself. And back then, it wasn't super cool to sing. You feel me? Like, it wasn't super cool to play guitar. It was like, you play guitar, what the hell is that? And and so I had to really hide that interest that I had for a long time, and it lay dormant for a long time. And so for me, in the relationships that I had been in, I had never really had the support from the women that I was with to pursue to do music. And for whatever those reasons were, you know, it ultimately made me insecure. No matter how many people on the internet love my voice, or no matter how many people, would tell me that they liked the way I sang or play guitar, or whatever it was, because of the person that I was with or the people that I had been with at the time, you know, to not hear from them. And I think ultimately those reasons were probably selfish reasons on their part, but it's still received to me the same way. And I think once I got out of that relationship, and I was in a place where I had I realized that I was the deciding factor in whether or not I was going to be, you know, good at music or not, and it really was just like a switch, like once I recognized that, and I just started to have confidence and not caring what people thought about me. Really just is the deciding factor in many things. In a lot of ways, it's the reason that a lot of people become successful. You do reach roadblocks. You reach certain points where you feel like you're at a crossroad, and you question if you're doing something right, or if this is for you, or if you're good at this thing or not. And a lot of times people turn left, which is the direction to go away from it, because it's just too uncomfortable to be in that space. It's too uncomfortable to be vulnerable, and so you'd rather be comfortable and at least know where you stand, instead of being in a space where you don't know where it's headed, but it's an uncomfortable space, but the reward is so high, and you can reap so many benefits going down this road. You really only limit it to the benefits that you would have if you went down the other road, which is going away from what you really want. So I think I told myself that, and from that point on, I just started to say fuck it and go after it.
Never would have made it. Never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all. Now I see you're there for me, and I can say, wiser.
I recognize the culture that we live in, and it's very trendy, and it's very, I've been on all spectrums of it as far as social media goes. I've been on the end where it's, I'm trending for something great, and people are like, I love this dude, whatever, right? I've been on the other end when there's like, this guy is not cool, like he's upset because of the music, yada yada yada. So I recognize that whenever you try to step out of the box and do something that people don't perceive you as, there's going to be a lot of pushback from people who are not open-minded, and people who want to keep you in a box because that's where they feel that you are safe in, you know. And it's a culture to be trendy, to hop on a bandwagon. So if one person says something to me and it gets attention, even if it's not true or if it's not in good nature, then somebody else will hop on that train, and that is what creates this avalanche that happens, not just to me, but a lot of other people too. I was just telling people that I thought it was hilarious that I posted a selfie, and people would say about everything about my looks, but when it comes down to things that I actually do, people just felt like they weren't interested because they only see me as what they see me as physically, and I'm much more than that, and I deserve much more than that. So, and there's a lot of people in the world who don't even know what I do for a living. Like they think I'm just on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? I have people saying like, man, you should try acting. I'm like, I'm an Emmy Award winning actor. Like, I've been working on TV for 6 years. You know what I mean? I have and consistently. So I don't try to fight with the trolls, because that's a fight I'll never win. I'm always gonna be outnumbered. You know what I mean? All I can do, and all I've been telling people is to just have your own opinion, man. And that's with anything. I mean, especially in the world we live in now, whatever information we get, it's really trickled down from so many different places that by the time it gets to us, it's not even true. And we don't know where the sources is, that we got it from. And so if you ever have an opinion about me or anything that I do, music, whatever it is, do your own research. That's all I tell people. You know, I had people telling me they didn't like my music and I had none out. So that just told me, you know, there's people out there who are just trying to follow the herd, you know, and trying to get clicks and get likes. And you know, I'm not too concerned with it. There's a lot of people who also support my music. I mean, it a lot of people don't even know like I have over 1 million streams in my music right now, especially on the song I just put out. You know, which is a lot of artists don't really get to even reach that point who are even known for music. So for me, you know, I know I find joy in those things, and I know there's a lot of people who are interested in hearing more from me. But it is the culture right now. A lot of people they want to get your attention by being assholes, man. And sometimes that'll get you the attention, but then you won't get any more interest at all after that because I'll just block you. People get surprised when I block them, man. I got time. I really do got time right now. Like if I see something that really doesn't sit right with me or sit right with my spirit, I'm exiting you from my existence. You know, boom, you block. I've had a lot of experiences with fans. A lot of fans. I mean, I get DMs like, you know, hundreds of DMs a day. But the interesting ones will be like the moms. Like I get a lot of mom DMs about their kids. You know, my daughter just graduated. You know, you should talk to her. And then the her kid won't even know that she's doing that. And so, you know, I just laugh at those, or they'll be their best friend who send their friends profiles or whatever. There's a lot of people who come up to me in public though, or had been before COVID, and depending on what show they watch, because I recognize that some people that watch How to Get Away with Murder have never seen me in anything else. They just think that's the only show I've done. When I've done, like, you know, obviously I've spent 2 years on Bold and Beautiful, which is on CBS. You know, I did 2 seasons of Have and Have Nots, which is on OWN. Kind of did those things simultaneously though. So there's certain people who only see me in those roles and haven't seen me in anything else. So when they meet me, you know, I've had fans come up to me and talk to me as if I'm actually those characters. And it's interesting, you know, depending on the show, I can always tell who what the fan is, because there's a different level of realism when it comes to the fans. So meaning that if I meet a fan that's like How to Get Away with Murder, they're a lot more aware and woke conscious as far as that I'm not actually this character. You know what I mean? As opposed to people from the soap world, they'll come up to me and think that I'm actually these people, or talk to me about the show as if that's actually me, or Have Nots is kind of similar also. So, you know, I've had fans come up and they think they know you. That's the thing, you know, when you're on TV a lot, and I understand it, especially being on TV every day when I was on Bold and being on different things. They'll come up to you and just try to hug you and be like in your space because they feel like they know you because they've seen you so many times, you know, and so you just have to kind of keep a little distance or whatever. And that's a tricky thing, you know. You don't want to end up on the shade room saying you saying fuck your fans and shit like that, you know. So I always just try to move, you know, at the right pace, man, when I meet people, but not anything too crazy though, man.
2:30, baby, won't you meet me by the beat? Too early, maybe later. You can show me things. You know what it is whenever I visit.
Listen, I never said it was about her. Yeah, that is kind of a rumor. I never said it wasn't about her, but you know, her and I were close. You know what I mean? So when I wrote the record, she inspired me in a way because of our relationship. So I think it wasn't about her, but it was just I kind of got the idea kind of from that, and then I kind of built off of that. Like what I'm saying in the song really isn't about her, you know. And I think blogs just kind of took that and ran with it and was like, "This is about her" and shit like that, which is fine. And you know, yes, she's inspired me, man. She inspired me in a lot of ways. You know, she has a lot to do with the reason why I'm doing music. And you know, I'm just lucky that I know Kehlani and I know Elijah, and you know, I've been working with Seven also, and that I know her, and that I know Wale, and I know a lot of these artists who really are great at their craft, and just want me to be around and say, yo, I want to teach you this, or allow me to be a fly on the room. on a wall. And to just learn, I think really helped me structure how to approach making the music, not necessarily, giving me the ambition to actually do it, but just giving me the necessary tools for me to do it right, and to be in the studio with Seven, and be in the studio with Kehlani as many times as I have been, and working with Elijah. These are the people who are, who are charted, and people who are well respected in their craft. And I learned a lot from being around them. Definitely, and their opinions matter too. So when I bring music to them and they say, "Yo, this is hot," or "Yo, you should do this on that hook," or "You should, boom, boom," it just gave me a sense of comfortability. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's called "Drunk with You." It's a record that I did with this cat. His name's Breland, real talented dude. He's a talented writer, but he also he makes music too. Um, it was him and another guy named Will Gettins, who was out of Atlanta, who was a writer, who was dope, and a couple of producers, Clint Ford, um, produced on this record. But I've been sitting on this record for a little bit, but I think now I'm in the position where I want to put it out because it's a record where I want people to listen to. And so after putting out Keep Me in Mind and getting the attention that I've gotten from that, I think this would be a good time for me to put that one out. And ultimately, I want to put an EP out, but it's just about trying to structure that out and figure out what makes sense. So I may just put that record out, or I may just put an EP out. I may just put like 5 songs out, boom, at the same time. What I would love to do. That would take a lot more planning, but I'm indecisive on what to do there, what I want to do. So Drunk with You is about basically, you got somebody that you interested in, and you like turning up with them. You like drinking with them, but it's real smooth, and like you have a lot of memories with this person. And some people only like to drink with certain people. You know what I mean? Only like to turn up with certain people and be trusting enough to get get lit with somebody else. And so I think it's kind of about that. I think when I do the visual, um, people really fuck with it. It's kind of like along the lines of what Keep Me in Mind is, and depends if I can get it. I want to get a couple of features on there. Like I said, I've been talking to Wale about doing something. Me and Seven been writing on some things together, and I'm really about to fuck the streets up a little bit, which is cool because I think a lot of people now they're gonna be expecting it. And the one thing you can't deny, and this supersedes everything, is you can't deny when something's good. You can't deny when somebody is good or somebody is great. And a lot of times that will exceed whatever perception that you have of them. So that's kind of like my motto. There's perceptions about me out there in the world. But when you hear music, when you hear the stuff I'm doing, like you just won't be able to deny the energy that's there.
I want you to think about it. I want you to love me now.
Yeah, there was a film that was supposed to come out. I don't know if it's still coming out, but I had the opportunity to go in a lot of times for this role for Sam Cooke, and I think that would have been an awesome role to do. I don't know what ended up happening with that project, but the script was really well written, and people don't really recognize Sam Cooke is kind of the king of where we got our runs from and songs that we hear. He was like really one of the first guys to really do it, especially in the time that he was living in, you know. And the film was actually about him. It was about Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and Malcolm X, because they all knew each other. And so to have the opportunity to play like a prolific character like that would have been great. There's obviously a lot of responsibility to that, but I'm not sure what would be the next kind of opportunity that I would have for that. But I would love the opportunity to do that.
Gravity is working against me.
Depression is it's a emotion, a feeling that we get in our daily lives. Everybody experiences it, no matter what level you are in your career, what level you are on the spectrum of success. And I feel like the reason that is because we put a lot of stake into idolizing things that that are really hard for us to obtain, you know. And whether you've gone through trauma, whether you so a lot of people who've gone through things and don't know how to express it or don't know how to, you know, get through what they're feeling because of how they grew up. You know, it's not. It's definitely, especially in the black homes. It's not. You know, me growing up wasn't a real cool. You know, it wasn't a clear conversation with my family members about mental health or about depression. It's like we're almost not even allowed to go through those kind of things because we go through real life shit that we got to deal with. You know, that's what I mean by real life things are things that are present, that are visual, that we got to deal with. And that's why I feel like the depression kind of just gets pushed down and it materializes in different ways. And the reasons why we have a lot of kids, a lot of people growing up that have anger issues, a lot of people who don't know how to talk about their feelings. And when you get old enough, you know, you recognize that that's the case. And you start to travel down this rabbit hole as to why you feel the way you do. And I think once, until you start doing that, you know, and trying to uncover what it is that really is the root of why you feel sad, depressed, or you don't feel happy as much, you know, we'll continue to go through this cycle where we go through things and we kind of just push them down and hide them and don't speak on them, and then they materialize into different things.
Gravity.